Alright, it's 6:26 in the morning. Heading south to my daughter's house for a little lunch before I head up to Park City to pick up a couple of pieces and to drop off some bronzes. 342 miles to my daughter's house in Layton, Utah. And it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. The sun is just starting to come over the mountains. That's the Madison Range right there, and just over those mountains is Yellowstone Park.
That they had not noticed him. Bell placed a napkin over his arm and took hold of a coffee pot as though he was waiting on a table. He could hold up the pot in front of his face should either Rose or Alexander look in his direction. The music stopped, and he watched as they walked back to a table. They were seated together. He felt no fire, no passion of arousal toward her. In his analytical mind, she was the enemy, not an object of desire. He saw through the transparent veneer of her loveliness to the cunning and guile beneath.
Except for the guard were Cardoza and his secretary. Ruskin studied the big steel door to the vault that was open to the lobby to impress the customers and suggest that their savings were in solid, protective hands. He approached the secretary. "Hello. My name is Elijah Ruskin. I have a 2:30 appointment with Mr. Cardoza." Albert Cardoza, manager, painted on the upper part of the frosted glass pane, knocked and leaned in. "A Mr. Elijah Ruskin to see you?" Cardoza quickly came to his feet and rushed around his desk. He shoved out a hand and shook the key in the front entrance door, locking. Then he turned the sign around in the window so that it read "Closed" from the street and pulled down the window shades as the guards sat there.
That's the Grand Tetons over in Wyoming. It's probably about 50 miles from here. Anyway, I'm heading south to Ashton, Idaho, which is right up ahead here. And I'm about almost 1.5 hours into the trip so far.
Just for the camera.
So Vinny, how old are you, Vinny?
I'm 7.
You're 7?
And where are ya?
Come here.
There you are.
That's my grandson Vincent. This is my daughter Heidi. And these are some of the games that I got Vincent for his little hand playing device.
It's a DS cup.
That one?
Okay, no, you can't use that one there, bud.
Oh, which
Hey.
point do I saw that
Say
I
hi to Grandpa. Hey, look at the camera.
Say hi.
Hi,
What's your name?
Vincent.
You're Vincent.
Can this wait?
Well, I'm in Layton, Utah. That's where my daughter lives, and I'm just leaving to go to Park City now to pick up a couple of bronzes and leaving off a couple. Boy, the jets from the Hill Air Force Base taking off are so cool to listen to. Of course, I only had to listen to them for an hour because she has to listen to them every day. We're right next to where Hill Air Force Base is. All right, I'm going to turn off the camera now because I'm going to be getting on the freeway and heading to Park City, which is about 56 miles from here. Salt Lake City. And you barely can see the temple. I mean, I can barely see it. I can't imagine you seeing it in the video. My great-great-grandfather was one of the founders of this whole state, let alone the valley. They came in here in 1847. And started immediately building the temple. I think the walls are something like 6 feet thick on that temple, made out of solid granite. Took them 40 years to build it. And the stones had to be hauled all the way from Cottonwood Canyon, which is about 30 miles or 20 or 30 miles south of where they were building, and they had to use ox teams to drag them up here to Salt Lake. This took forever.
Drive 0.1 miles, then turn right on 4th Street.
Well, I just dropped off the bronzes at Mountain Trails Gallery here, and picked up the clay and of the little cowboy. I want to be like you, Daddy, and Peace Talker. And now I'm heading back down through Park City to head home. Not home, but towards Nevada now, and hopefully get out of here.
Turn right on 4th Street, then turn left.
This town is really, really popping right now. And what really surprises me are all these extensions of the restaurants out into the parking area, which is limited as it is. Doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway.
Recalculating.
So,
Continue 200 feet, then turn right on 5th Street. Turn right on 5th Street, then turn left.
Okay, I can't turn on 5th Street. I got somebody in the street. Alright, well, anyway, I'm going to end the video now so I can get my hands back on the wheel.
Recalculating.
Well, there's the Great Salt Lake, and that's called Black Rock. That protrusion there is extremely famous. It was on a lot of old 1800 postcards of this area. It was one of the areas where people would come to swim in the lake. When I lived here in Salt Lake, I used to bring people out here to swim in the lake to experience the buoyancy of the water. It has so much salt in the content in the water that you can literally sit in the water. Okay, this is the beginning of the salt flats. This isn't the straight area yet. That dust cloud is one vehicle out there driving towards the freeway at huge speed. You can see it right there. Wonder who it is. You can almost see the vehicle from here. I guess somebody wants to. And then this guy who just made the big dust cloud up there is coming up the road towards me. Could be interesting to see what the vehicle looks like. Oh, it's a car. Everybody's in a hurry. Comes. There he goes. All right, these are the Bonneville Salt Flats. There's a piece of modern sculpture right there, and I think it's supposed to represent a tree. But it's out here in the middle of the Bonneville Salt Flats, and it's been here for well over 30 years, I would think. I'm not really certain. It's just I've seen this for years and years every time I pass by here. It certainly was here during the 80s when I was married, because I remember going to Tahoe and doing shows there from Salt Lake. And I'd pass this every single time. But there it stands. Out here where nobody really, well, I guess millions of people do see it. You know, what's fascinating to think about is right at the base of those mountains is the Bonneville Salt Flats. And you just know that they echoed with the sounds of some of the most powerful and fastest land vehicles ever to exist. And, you know, the jet engines and the turbo engines and the motorcycles, the the gentleman from Australia who set the land speed record on his home-built motorcycle. I mean, just unbelievable stuff. Just taking place in this area. All right, I'm almost in Nevada. I'm just about to leave Utah.